Really necessary as the strongest ever hurricane to hit Ireland spreads across the country. Met Éireann has issued a status red warning for the entire country. Joining us with that story and everything related this morning are KFM's Shane Beatty and Director of the Irish Academy of Public Relations, Ellen Gunning. Morning to you. This is a moving story, obviously, but I suppose it's no harm to just reiterate what we know. It is status red. It's going to get really nasty, and the advice from all of the authorities, safety and meteorological, are don't do anything stupid, don't do anything dangerous, stay indoors if you can possibly.
This is the worst hurricane, or ex-hurricane, that's likely to hit Ireland in 50 years. I don't think any of us really can remember anything like this before. And what people are saying is, you can't underestimate it. I can't get over the fact that they're advising you to do things like look outside your house and take in the bins, because they can actually take off and cause damage to people. I was looking yesterday evening at Hurricane Debbie, which was the last time in 1961, and there were people killed in a car because a tree fell on them. There was a man who was hit by something in the neck which had come off a roof, and that killed him. There was a man sitting outside a hospital who was killed on a bench because a branch of a tree fell on him. I think we underestimate this hurricane at a peril. We really need to do as we're told on this occasion. We need to do nothing foolish. We need to stay indoors if we can at all. We need to not take out on bicycles. We need to not try and shoot video footage, which is awesome in places like Dunleary and out on Coline. And I think employers have a particular duty. I heard a report this morning that ISME, IBEC and the Small Firms Association had all said that they were advising people, employers, that they have a duty of care to their employees. Now, we all know that as an employee, you take the day off at your own expense, unless somebody says, would you stay at home and be sensible? But I thought it was really interesting that they were saying, you have a duty of care to your employees, and if you bring them in, you have a duty of care to keep them home, which I hadn't thought. So if you put people
in harm's way, which could actually be more expensive than the day off.
Absolutely, and particularly if you're on the East Coast, depending on where you are in the country, if you're on the East Coast, it's going to get worse in the afternoon. Apparently, it's going to hit here from around noon. So getting home would be the problem, not getting in this morning.
And also bear in mind the distances that people have to commute on the East Coast. You've got people coming from on the borders of Leinster all the way to Dublin. Yeah. So that's an hour and a half, 2 hours in the car.
Going at very high speeds on the motorway as well, which is never good. So yeah, people really need to be careful. But as Ellen says, I mean, if you don't tell your employees to stay at home, they are going to make it in, because a lot of people can't afford to take a day's sick pay or take a day's holidays for it. So they're going to go in and they are going to take risks as well, which you shouldn't do. I mean, I actually think we should have had, I don't know how practical it is, but a national emergency public holiday of sorts, because there's no need for a lot of people to be in work today. Obviously, I mean, we're here working with the media to communicate a message, the emergency services, the nurses, the doctors, the Gardaí, whoever, the rescue workers. But there's an awful lot of people who don't need to be in work today, and these big companies are putting profits before the welfare of their employees.
We're all about money. No, that's true. We know obviously that all the coastal counties are going to take the brunt of this. They're certainly going to get it first, and they may take the worst of it. But there's a lot of exposed counties in Ireland. In the Midlands, I'm just thinking of your own county of Kildare, which is almost as flat as ink. There's but there's no kind of natural windbreak there whatsoever. I'm just wondering, has Kildare County Council, what have they said, and what have they done?
Kildare County Council, I looked on social media yesterday, has not communicated all weekends. Now, Meath County Council are very busy tweeting. Kildare County Council actually have a competition where they want people to tell them how to improve your website. I would suggest ways to improve would be to put messages about the storm up on the website. That hasn't actually happened yet.
Have somebody manning it over the weekend.
I think actually you're right though. So much of the focus was on those coastal counties and southern counties, but sort of us in the Midlands are only coming to terms with this very, very late in the day. So we shall see what happens with it. But yeah, I think an emergency public holiday could have been easily called here. And also the media have gone from not covering it all on Saturday when the international media were going crazy, but now we've gone the total other end where we've totally overreacted, perhaps. Fingers crossed we have.
Well, the problem, and we'll be talking to meteorological experts a little later on in the programme, is that initially it was going to brush by us. Now it looks like it's veered, and we're going to get more of it. Just thinking, Ellen, I saw a big event like this. It's an opportunity for somebody to take a political pot shot, but I was a Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil spokesperson on this, said that they should have had planned for this better. Can you plan for something like this?
I don't know that you can. They do have the National Emergency Coordinating Committee. Surprisingly, they're not meeting until 10:30 this morning. They met all day yesterday. They met yesterday evening. But they're not at their desks at 6 o'clock this morning when it hits the country. That just strikes me as odd. I would have thought, I know you don't physically need to be there, but I would have thought as a committee it made more sense.
Well, in fairness to them, they've set every ball in motion that they can. So now it's up to the experts and the people on the front line to deal with that.
They have, but I'd feel more comfortable if they were actually sitting in a room talking to each other as it breaks in case something happens.
The way it looks, isn't it?
It's the way it looks, it's the optics. I suppose there isn't much more really that the government could do. I think what caught us, you nailed it, it's the fact that it was going to brush past us. So we were all a little bit easygoing about it. Well, it'll be a touch of a hurricane down the southwest coast and it won't be up too much. And as the weekend went on, they said, no, it's actually changed its path slightly. Now it's red. Actually, when you look at the graphics and you see this patch of red coming right across the middle of Ireland, Ireland is covered in this red. We're going to be hit everywhere, and I think that's what caught people by surprise. I don't think they expected to have the impact. And funny enough, Shane, when you were talking about employers and they really should kind of take care of their people. It's not about profit. I think the employers in the south of Ireland or the southwest of Ireland probably immediately started planning because they knew this was going to happen. I think the rest of the country, employers are waking up this morning saying, what do we do? How do we contact our people? How do we tell them not to come in? Because it really wasn't expected to be all that bad. I think we've all been caught a little on the hop.
Well, hopefully we've all been overreacting here. This is the hope. We don't know. We will know the extent of it later on. I mean, we're sort of talking in the vacuum that we don't know yet. But certainly, winds of 140 kilometres an hour are very, very serious, clearly. And I think some employers shouldn't have allowed their staff to go to bed last night with a question mark over whether you're in or not today. It's one day. We have all the warnings here. Give them the day off. Make sure everyone's safe and ready to go tomorrow. Nothing can't wait for a day. We have had this warning since Thursday. We haven't heard of Hurricane Ophelia, so it's not as if it's taken us completely by surprise.
The other thing, I'm just thinking through this and beyond it, because of course it will pass this, I'm just wondering what our clean-up facilities are like, because that actually is going to be, this will be through here in a day, 24 hours, maybe 36 at most, but we could spend weeks cleaning it up. Are we ready for that? Do we have the resources? Do we have the facilities in place?
Well, talk to people who are still trying to get their flood insurance sorted from some of the previous storms. I'm not sure we do have the facilities, to be honest. We shall see. We're going to be put to the test of the country.
Okay, well, listen, thank you both very much indeed. And obviously, we're going to keep you up to date with everything that's happening as it happens and when we get it. So let us know.